in a different location this morning. Actually, the same location. I'm just outside. Had my coffee already. Getting ready to head out on the road and do a little bit of running around, having a good day, spending it with the love of my life. We had a discussion this morning that brought me to China and the Nixon deal and trade with China. So basically, my opinion on this is every time you or I purchase a product from China, we take a chance that this was produced by slave labor. I posted a picture, two pictures on Facebook, and one was a container ship, one of the big ones, and another one was a slave ship from earlier in our country's history. Now, I asked what the difference was, and I got a couple responses. I didn't get many to speak of. Nobody understood what I was getting at, and maybe it's because I wasn't clear enough. But the truth of the matter is they're both slave ships. The difference is we now are using slave labor abroad instead of on our own shores. America has encouraged China to become larger through slave labor. The number one cost of any business is labor. So attracting good people and keeping good people is hard to do for a company. It's been said that people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. Well, if your boss is a communist regime, a communist dictator, you don't have that choice. You're going to work where you're told. You're going to do what you're told to do. So, when Nixon opened up trade with China, his intent, even if it was lip service, this is what he said, was to help China come more fully into capitalism. Instead, the unfettered greed of capitalist bosses led them to take full advantage of the situation, and China bloomed into a economic strong nation that it is today. I am a capitalist. I believe that capitalism is the answer. Competition, cream rises to the top. Use your best ability to do your best job and garner the job and wages you want. On that front, greed's good. Unfettered greed with the cooperation of governments has a different name. And that's what we have now. The reason this topic came up this morning was because my wife and I were talking about Trump's tariffs. She's anti-tariff. I'm ambivalent. I can see both sides. I think what's happening here is we're not getting the big picture. The big picture is there is an evil regime forcing people to work in labor camps, and we're doing business with them because that cuts the cost of labor. And with the advent of these large cargo vessels, we can use offshore slave labor, even if it's wage slave labor. A lot of people pointed out that Apple has a huge company. This has been years ago that I talked about this with somebody. They had a huge complex in China that they use to create their iPhones. Well, the suicide rate came up, and one of the executives said the suicide rate within that complex was the same as it was nationwide, so it shouldn't be an issue. Well, the interviewer was very quick to point out that if you're employing people in the best place to be employed in China, shouldn't the suicide rate be a lot lower? And the answer is yes, if you're giving them a fair wage and giving them choice and freedom. But the answer was no. It is not lower, it is the same. and that's a travesty. Every time you or I buy a product made in China, we take a chance. We take a chance of encouraging more slaves, working in factories that they don't want to be in, doing things that they don't want to do. That's communism. You go where you're needed, and your rights are irrelevant. So I try and check the country of origin for the products I buy. I'd encourage everybody to do the same. I don't want to encourage that kind of behavior. I don't want to be a participant in that kind of behavior. It's not anything that I want to encourage. It's difficult because there's so little that you can buy that doesn't have some kind of resource, whether it's raw goods or actual labor putting things together from China. I don't hate the Chinese people. I want them to be the best and have the best lives that they can. But paying the country to have them in those factories where they don't want to be, that's not freedom. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that this morning, get that off my chest, and I did. And now I'm going to go and try and have the best day that I can. It's my day off. Spend it with the person I love the most. And I might talk her into stopping somewhere and getting another cup of coffee. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.